Good morning. This is Brandy M. Miller with Write Your Book Today. Now, what is your name?
My name is Jarrisha Fibonacci.
That is a great last name, math related. The
Yes,
Fibonacci
definitely.
sequence. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, again, my name is Jarrisha Fibonacci. I am the proud mother of three great sons that are growing strong. My youngest son is Josiah. He is 11 years old now. Josiah actually is autistic and was diagnosed with epilepsy, so we do go through a lot with him. Then I have a amazing son, my middle son, Mr. Solomon. He's 13, and then my firstborn son is Mr. Emmanuel. I'm a serial entrepreneur in the areas of health, entertainment, insurance, and real estate, and then have a couple other ventures that I am working on right now as well. What else about me? I'm co-founder of my nonprofit, Jim's Community Development Corporation. We help grassroots nonprofits, social entrepreneurs, as well as small business startups, learn different types of technology trainings and or platforms. And we also help them access funding for their mission. Outside of that, I love kombucha. Something weird about me. I love kombucha. Gotta have it every day. Keeps my little tummy nice and right. And I'm a pescatarian. I don't eat any other meat products outside of fish products, and then I focus on my fruits and my veggies, because sometimes people say, "Are you vegetarian?" I have to be correct. No, I'm not. I'm pescatarian. So that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. Well, I happen to be, there's only 4 rules that I have about food. It can't look at me. It can't make noises at me. It can't attempt to move away from me, and it must not bleed on me.
Okay.
Those 4 things, it is not done, put it back.
All right, now.
Bring it back out when it's done.
Right.
All right. And so where do you currently live?
I'm currently located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm actually a Charlottean, born and raised in the Queen City, baby. So yeah, I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have traveled the world extensively, but yeah, we're still here, and potentially I may be moving overseas to Ghana.
Really? And what's in Ghana?
Well, I have a cousin that's overseas in Ghana. She actually has dual citizenship, and she's currently working on finding a piece of land for our family to develop there. So if we want to visit as a family, we can all come there. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay. And so what is your current business that you're focused on?
Oh, my current business that I'm focused on, honestly, is the actual nonprofit organization, Jim's Community Development Corporation. I've been fortunate over the past 20 years to work for myself. And so in doing so, I found a lot of different community needs that I'd like to focus on. And so with that being said, we've been able to successfully create products and services with the nonprofit to sustain itself so that we can do it full time.
That's great, because a lot of nonprofits do struggle, don't they, to sustain themselves?
Absolutely. A lot of nonprofits do struggle to sustain themselves. And if you are a nonprofit, or if you're, thinking about becoming a grassroots nonprofit, feel free to go online to Jim CDC Nonprofit Secrets Group. And we have a group there where we actually offer a nonprofit secrets master course that teaches you how to start your own nonprofit and how to access over $100,000 in grant funding to help begin to sustain your nonprofit. So that's Jim CDC on Facebook, Nonprofit Secrets. And also look out for our book that's going to be released in 2019 called Nonprofit Secrets.
Awesome. I was going to ask you about that later on, but you jumped ahead.
Throwing it out there right then and there. I'm
Yeah, I was going
excited
to
about
ask
it.
you. Well, that is an exciting thing. Releasing a book is kind of a powerful way of connecting with your community, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this is going to be our first project as a nonprofit, and we're really excited. And we do believe that this particular book is a book that needs to be on the desk, of every single nonprofit that exists. In particular, any startup nonprofit, because we teach how to create products and services to sustain it, so that you don't necessarily have to beg per se, or compete for the nonprofit dollars that are, few and far between.
And they are few and far between. And there's so many people out there asking for help with their project or their cause, and, having the tools to know how to fund yourself, essentially,
Absolutely.
is so powerful, because then you're not tied to spending your time sending out all these letters, begging,
Yes,
begging, begging, and those get tiresome real quick. Your
they,
donors
they really
burn
do.
out on it.
Not only do they get tiresome really quick, I mean, depending on your circle of influence, your social capital. I mean, if you're not out there networking, and you don't know anybody, it's going to be pretty hard. But thank God for technology, and that's why we emphasize size of that Gems Community Development Corporation. You have so many e-commerce platforms and ways to be automated online, so that you don't have to spend your time trying to find money. You can actually get out in the trenches and do whatever it is that you're saying, is pulling your heartstrings.
Absolutely. So is this your dream job, or is it just a business that's launching you towards your dream?
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my dream job. As a little kid, I always said I wanted to, wake up every day and go to my office and sit in my office and write checks to people, what I'm saying, that are doing good. And make sure that when I'm offering those funds, that it's an organization that's really making impact and making a difference. And I feel like I'm here now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a dream. It's real. And you have to believe in yourself, and you have to stay focused, and you really have to walk out what you want with blinders on. You can't get distracted. And I'm grateful that I've had mentorship in my life that kept me focused, so that I can sit here today and actually say I'm where I desire to be in life. And anything else that comes after this is just a bonus.
Yes. So tell us about the biggest challenge you faced on the way to making your dream a reality, and how you overcame that.
Mm. The biggest challenge that I've had to face in overcoming making my dream a reality has been believing in myself.
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
Believing in myself. What I've learned along the journey is that no one can want it, more for you than you want it for yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't be who others, want you to be. You really have to say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want. And this is what I'm going to do. And you have to do it. You have to do what you say you're going to do, no matter the circumstances and no matter the opinions. Just for an example, I could have told you that one of my greatest obstacles was my son, being diagnosed with autism and epilepsy at the age of 6 months, and him not being able to walk, talk, eat, or drink, literally, wheelchair bound by the age he was 3. And I could have told you that, the doctors told me that by the time he was 5, he would be on dialysis, but instead we chose naturopathic remedies to help him. And by the grace of God, he's out of his wheelchair, but he still has a developmental delay. I could have told you that, my obstacle is that my son wears diapers, and I have to change him every day, and he's 11 years old. But that's not an obstacle. That's my responsibility.
Yeah.
And he was given to me, to love and be able to nurture and help in whatever capacity. So it's not the external things is the point. I think it's more so the internal things within ourselves that we have to resolve along the way. And again, it boils down to, believing in yourself and then doing what it is that you need to do to get where you're going.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. One of the things that used to stop me when I was pursuing a dream was that nobody else would buy into my dream. Like, I wanted their approval of my dream. I wanted them to back it. And
Right.
then I got to a point where I realized, you know what? That's unfair of me, because I'm asking them to see a vision that wasn't given to them. The vision was given to me. I'm the only one who can see it, and I'm the only one who can build it. And they won't see it until I start building it.
That's right.
And so, then I gave myself permission to build even when nobody else can see what I see.
Yes.
And that's when I started succeeding.
Amen. That's so good.
For everybody to give me permission to pursue the vision that was given to me. If it's given to you, it's for you.
That's right. You cannot wait. There's no way on the planet that any man on the person can validate the dream that was given to you.
Yeah,
exactly. They can't, because it's not their experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not their experience, and like you said, all they can do, or all we can do when people have visions, is wait for the manifestation, and then we can participate. So, wow.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So how did you meet Rashon Lawhorn?
I met Rashon through mutual friends on Facebook. You know how Facebook is. You have a group of stellar friends, that are really doing well, high impact, high performance, go-getter type people, and they motivate you when you go down your timeline. And Rashon just so happened to scroll down my timeline one day by way of something that someone else had posted. I was checking out what he was saying. It's like, wow, this guy, he's a leader. He is really a leader. And the more I would see his post, I could be going through, anything on any given day. It always seemed to, motivate and encourage me. And, for a while I saw him talking about, hey guys, you got to learn how to, take care of your finances. You need to understand generational wealth. Then it went from that to, we need to work cooperatively as a group, what I'm saying? And we can do things faster, and then everyone can, participate in making more money, or, living their dream per se. And I loved it. I loved it. And then most recently I saw a post where he was talking about investing, and he put up this thing called the Richminded Investment Group. And it was so on point, just right on alignment with things that I have been discussing with my my oldest sister, and just people in general. It's kind of, how things just kind of fall in alignment in reference to developing properties and co-oping and group economics and things of that nature. So let me get it in, check this out. So got in, checked it out, and it was in alignment with what I believe in. My core values are God, health, and abundance. And so I saw all those elements with Rashon as a leader, and decided, you know what, I want in on this. I want to be a part of it. I want to utilize my expertise, my experience, my skill set to help this group, and to also help myself. And so I went ahead and joined, spoke with Rashon, showed him some things that I have going on the back end, because I've done some real estate investing in the past, and he was with it. And it just so happened that we just had this discussion after I had left an investor who owns a lot of different subdivisions and plots of land, etc. So it was like, whoa, wait a minute, this could work, and it's working right now. So I'm happy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's hard to believe that more of us don't think community. If more of us would come together as communities, as families, to build things, we all get ahead faster.
That's so true.
So, but we tend to think in isolation, and we sink in
Yeah,
isolation.
you better say it, girl.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Preach, Brandy.
discovering. Well, actually, this is funny because along my journey, part of what my husband and I realized when I was in my 30s was that we were failing, not because we were doing anything per se wrong, but because we weren't connected to community. And people who are connected to community have a support network to fall back on when things go wrong. People who are isolated don't. So when
Absolutely.
things go wrong, instead of having somebody to help them lift back up, they fall on their butts.
Whoa.
You know,
Whoa.
they hit the floor because
They
there's
do.
nobody to catch them.
Mm.
And we're disconnecting from each other at radical rates.
Right.
We're isolating ourselves. We're lonelier. We're less connected to community. And we're failing as a result.
That's so true. I agree completely that was the whole point of creating a community development corporation. I come from a situation where I grew up, it was the projects. Earl Village was the projects. As a matter of fact, the Charlotte Observer back in 1989, I was 9 years old, ran a front pager that said Earl Village is toxic to our community. How do you think a 9-year-old kid feels seeing that the community they live in is what, I guess the rich people believe is toxic, when I knew some good people in the community? Well, fast forward, after about 20 years, they came in and gentrified the community and built up, the beautiful condominiums with that multi-use space, etc. But we still continue to stay in the same community even after it was gentrified. But on the same token, I don't know none of my neighbors. I don't know none of my neighbors.
Exactly.
Why I don't know my neighbors? Why are my neighbors not open to knocking on the door saying, hey, this is, who I am, or showing up to community barbecues, or being at the park. I don't even see kids at the park no more, girl, or being at the park.
Oh, I know. We don't let our kids out in the park.
So having an opportunity to invest with a group of people where we can build mixed use communities that are sustainable, where people actually come together, come together and take action in different areas for a better way of living is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to as a developer as we move forward with these
and
projects.
I think that when we build those kind of things, we need to consider how can we build them in such a way that community is encouraged from the get-go.
Right.
They're not encouraged to isolate themselves, but are encouraged to come together. So that answers a lot of questions. So what made you decide to participate in the Richminded Investors book?
I was already, like I said, the day I decided, I had just left South Carolina looking at probably about 200 acres of land. Mm-hmm. And that included, farmland all the way down to the subdivisions and a couple of other things that were going on. And it was just like, this is a no-brainer. I have access to this land, and, for some strange reason, properties are attracted to me. I was just joking. This could be like a win-win situation. And it comes together with the vision that I have for my actual nonprofit organization as well, community development. So it just was a no-brainer. And again, all the elements were there. The co-op was there. Rashon's a good leader. I've seen the momentum in the group. People were actually, paying for a share to invest. So it's active. And I just feel like now is the right time. It's kind of like now or never. I'm not a futuristic person in the sense of waiting for tomorrow to be happy or to have something. It's now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
It's a now situation. Yeah. And so I just felt like now in this particular season, it just is the right time to collaborate with a group of investors instead of, going at it alone. I've been going at it alone for about 20 years and it's been okay. But I feel like, at a season in my life where I'm nearing 40, just in all honesty, this is that season where I really, really, really want to get it all the way in, and also impart and teach a bit of what I've been able to learn as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom and your insights and your experiences with us. I am so glad to have you as one of our Rich-Minded investors. And it's been a pleasure meeting you. And that concludes our interview.